Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to go deep on action learning and why it's becoming so popular for developing leaders in the AI space. We've got two sources for you today. A document called Grok, Top 5 Reasons for ALX, which really digs into the benefits of this approach, and some marketing material from ALX Academy. They actually run action learning program specifically designed for AI leadership. It's fascinating how a method from the 1940s is now super relevant for navigating the cutting edge of AI.
It is quite a resurgence.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider the demands on leaders today.
Right.
They need more than just technical understanding.
Yeah.
They need to manage the impact of AI on their teams, their whole organization.
Right. It's not just about the algorithm, it's about the people too.
Exactly.
So let's start with the basics. What is action learning?
Well, both sources define it as learning by doing,
Okay.
where you're tackling real problems, taking action,
Right.
and reflecting on the results.
Got
And it's all done collaboratively,
Okay.
usually in a small group with a coach to guide things.
Okay. I'm seeing a theme here. Learning by doing real problems. It seems very hands-on.
Yes, very much so.
Why is this approach so well suited for AI leadership in particular?
Well, both sources give us a great starting point.
Okay.
They both highlight the top 5 reasons why action learning works for this.
Perfect.
Let's start with practical experience,
Okay.
something that traditional training often lacks.
Yeah.
Action learning throws leaders right into the mix,
Okay.
working on real AI projects with the same tools and challenges they'd face in the real world.
So it's not just theoretical knowledge.
Well,
It's actually getting your hands dirty.
exactly. For example, the Grok document talks about leaders working on AI-driven process optimization as part of their action learning experience.
Okay.
Imagine taking something like customer service or logistics and figuring out how AI can actually improve those processes.
Right.
That's the kind of real-world application they're dealing with.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And this ties in nicely with the second reason both sources highlight interdisciplinary collaboration.
Yes, definitely.
They mention that action learning typically happens in groups of 5 to 7 people,
Right.
and that this mimics how real AI projects work.
It's more than just mimicking.
Okay.
It's about building the skills you need to lead these diverse teams in the real world.
Got it.
Communication, delegation, conflict resolution. These are all crucial in the fast-paced world of AI.
So it's like a mini boot camp for the real-world dynamics of AI leadership.
Precisely.
I like it.
And speaking of fast-paced,
Yeah.
the third benefit both sources point to is agile learning and adaptation.
Okay.
This is where the iterative nature of action learning really shines,
Okay.
because AI is constantly evolving.
Right.
Leaders need a way to keep up and adapt.
Okay, hold on. Iterative is a word I've seen thrown around a lot in the AI world.
Sure.
Can you break that down a bit more? How does this cycle actually work in action learning?
It's a continuous loop. You're taking action, reflecting on the outcome,
Okay.
then using those insights to inform your next action.
So it's constantly evolving.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's not a one-and-done training session.
Right.
It's about constantly adjusting your approach as you learn.
So it's like instead of learning about AI as it is right now,
Yeah.
you're developing the skills to adapt to whatever comes next.
Exactly.
I like that.
Now, the fourth reason for action learning's effectiveness is something that might seem obvious,
Okay.
but it's worth highlighting:
All right.
the development of leadership and management skills.
I can see how that's important.
Yes,
But isn't that something you can learn in any leadership program? Well, what makes action learning different?
action learning goes beyond theoretical frameworks and case studies.
Okay.
It forces you to step up and actually lead a project,
Right.
delegate tasks, and guide your team towards a common goal. And this is done in the high-stakes world of AI implementation,
Yeah.
where decisions have real consequences.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think that leads us perfectly into the fifth reason.
Okay.
Fostering innovation.
Right.
It's not just about understanding how AI works.
No.
It's about using that knowledge to solve real problems and come up with innovative solutions.
Exactly.
Okay.
The Grok document actually uses examples like AI for business leaders
Yeah.
and accelerating leadership with AI to show how action learning pushes leaders to think creatively about applications.
So it's about moving from passive learning to active problem solving.
Yes.
Which is critical in a field that's changing as rapidly as AI.
Absolutely.
And what's interesting is that this focus on real-world application combined with that iterative cycle we talked about,
Yeah.
it actually creates a framework for leaders to really dig into the nuances of AI implementation.
It does.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about how action learning compares to other learning methods. Both sources mention a table that compares it to traditional training, online courses, and mentorship.
Right.
Maybe we can dive into that next.
I think that's a great idea. It'll be interesting to see how action learning stacks up against those other approaches.
Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back and ready to unpack this comparison table from the Grok document.
Right.
I always love a good visual. Helps to really see how things stack up.
Indeed, this one lays out action learning
Yeah.
alongside traditional training, online courses,
Right.
and mentorship, comparing them across 5 key areas:
Okay.
practical experience, collaboration, adaptability,
Got it.
leadership skills, and innovation focus.
And it's pretty clear from the table that action learning comes out on top,
It seems so.
scoring high across all 5.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to, you guessed it, practical experience and collaboration.
Yeah.
Those seem to be its real strengths.
Precisely. And as we've discussed,
Right.
those 2 aspects are absolutely vital for effective AI leadership.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at traditional training,
Okay.
it kind of makes sense why it falls short in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
It's often very theoretical.
Right.
Lots of lectures,
Yeah.
not a lot of hands-on application.
Yeah, it's like trying to learn a new language just by reading a textbook.
Yes.
You might grasp the grammar,
Right.
but you wouldn't be able to hold a conversation.
Exactly. Now, online courses,
Yeah.
they do offer some element of putting things into practice,
Okay.
but they often miss out on that crucial collaborative element
Yeah.
that's so central to action learning.
And mentorship, while great for individual growth,
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't provide the same dynamic group setting where you can bounce ideas off of multiple perspectives and tackle problems as a team.
Right.
There's a certain synergy that comes from working together.
Right. So it seems action learning really hits that sweet spot for developing AI leadership.
Yeah.
It combines that hands-on experience,
Mhm.
collaborative environment,
Yeah.
and the reflective practice,
Right.
all within a structure that really encourages adaptability, leadership, and innovation.
It sounds like it.
It's a pretty compelling package.
Absolutely. So for anyone out there who's either aspiring to be an AI leader
Yeah.
or is already in that role and looking to level up their skills,
Right.
action learning seems like a pretty solid path forward.
I'd agree. It's a powerful framework for not just understanding this complex world of AI,
Mm-hmm.
but for thriving in it,
Right.
for driving innovation,
Yeah.
and navigating all the changes that come with it.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've defined action learning.
Yes.
We've explored its benefits.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even compared it to other learning methods.
Right.
But this comparison table got me thinking.
Okay.
Both of our sources focused on individual leaders learning about AI.
Right.
But what about the teams actually working on AI projects?
That's an intriguing thought. You're essentially asking if we can expand the scope of who benefits from this approach.
Yeah. Exactly. Could action learning be a valuable tool for, say,
Yeah.
fostering better collaboration within those AI teams themselves?
Mm.
Or for driving more innovation in their projects?
I think there's a lot of potential there. Imagine a team working on, say, a new AI-powered product
Okay.
using action learning principles.
Yeah.
They could tackle development challenges together,
Right.
experiment with different ideas,
Yeah.
and constantly reflect on their progress as a unit.
I like it.
It could create a really dynamic environment.
It's like they'd be learning from each other's expertise in real time,
Yes,
adapting to new developments together,
exactly.
and really ensuring they're building solutions that are not just effective, but also well thought out from multiple angles.
And that collective learning and adaptation would be crucial in a field as rapidly evolving as AI.
Totally. I feel like we've just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
There's a whole other dimension to action learning that we haven't even fully explored yet.
It's a testament to how these deep dives can really spark new ideas
Right.
and push us to think beyond the initial scope of our source material.
Yeah.
We start with a specific question and end up with a whole new set of possibilities.
Absolutely. But we'll leave that further exploration up to you, dear listener.
Okay.
Take this idea of action learning for teams and see where it leads you.
Yeah.
It might spark something really innovative.
I'm sure it will.
Hmm.
So as we start to wrap things up,
Okay.
I encourage you to consider how this approach,
Mm-hmm.
whether for yourself as a leader,
Right.
for your team, or even for your organization,
Okay.
could be applied to your own specific context.
Yeah.
What are the challenges you're facing? And how might action learning provide a framework for tackling them?
You know, as we were talking about action learning for teams, it struck me that this approach could be really powerful for addressing some of the common challenges we see in AI implementation.
Yeah.
For example, how do you bridge the gap between the tech experts who build the algorithms and the business leaders who need to actually apply them?
That's a great point. It's a classic problem.
Yeah.
You've got these two groups who speak different languages, and it can be hard to get them on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
But action learning, with its focus on real-world problem-solving and cross-functional collaboration, could be a really effective way to bridge that divide.
I'm picturing a team with data scientists, software engineers, product managers, even marketing folks, all working together on an AI project using this framework.
Yeah.
They'd be learning from each other's expertise, figuring out how to translate those technical insights into real business value.
Exactly. And not just understanding each other's perspective, but actually working together to iterate on solutions in a real-world context.
Yeah.
It could lead to more holistic, well-rounded AI implementations, ones that are both technically sound and aligned with business goals.
And beyond just bridging that tech-business gap, I wonder if action learning could also play a role in addressing some of the broader societal concerns around AI.
Well, one of the key principles of action learning is reflection.
Okay.
Taking the time to step back and examine not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it.
Yeah.
And what the potential implications might be.
Okay.
That kind of mindful approach is essential when you're dealing with a technology as powerful as AI.
It's not just about building the most sophisticated algorithms. It's about ensuring that those algorithms are being used in a way that's beneficial and responsible.
Absolutely. And by incorporating that kind of reflection and discussion into the action learning process, teams can proactively address potential issues. Ensure they're developing AI solutions that are aligned with their values, and ultimately contribute to a more positive and ethical AI landscape.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into action learning, it seems clear that this approach has a lot to offer.
A lot.
It's not just a training method. It's a framework for navigating the complexities of AI, fostering a culture of innovation and collaboration, and ultimately shaping a future where AI is used responsibly and effectively.
Couldn't have said it better myself and for our listeners. I think the key takeaway here is to start thinking about how action learning can be applied in your own unique context, whether you're a leader, a team member, or simply someone interested in exploring the potential of AI. This approach offers a powerful set of tools for learning, adapting, and driving positive change.
That's a great final thought. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of action learning. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and keep diving deep.
When the video ends, quickly capture your top-of-mind thoughts in the discuss box.